Here's where we're headed in this video. A live website hosted on GitHub that shows an exploratory data analysis that I did on a Tidy Tuesday dataset from scratch. You'll follow along to see exactly how I produced this in real time over the next 40 minutes. You'll watch me use several tools: Jupyter Notebooks, GitHub, NBDev, ChatGPT, Y-data profiling, and more. Let's jump in. This is the website of the R for Data Science GitHub repo for Tidy Tuesday. And this is the 2018 October 16th data set here. I picked this one because David Robinson actually has this YouTube video where he went through this. And I've scrubbed through it a little bit, but I haven't really watched it. But I think it's a really cool idea to see how someone takes a data set and does an initial exploration on this. I thought it'd be fun to do this myself, not in R, but in Python. And also, one of the major things I wanted to try to do was really lean on ChatGPT and the data analysis piece, because I haven't really used that much. And I really want to see how far it can get with my help, and we can go back and forth and take a look at this. All right, so let's actually dive in here. The economic guide to picking a college major. Let's make that be the actual description. So this this little bash script I have does a few things. It's using NBDev, which is it helps you create delightful software with Jupyter Notebooks. Okay, so I'm using this as the framework. Now, it's a little bit, it's fine to use it for what I'm using it here in this case, which is to create a single repo for an analysis. So this is going to be Tidy Tuesday 002. I'll put links to this repo and everything else as we go along. And I have this little thing that just helps me find where it's going to exist. So just created this repo here. If I look at this initial commit was now, and it has the description that I just pasted into there. And there is a GitHub repo pages that doesn't quite work. So you do have to change what this is. And the branch is gh pages save. Okay, so what do we have in our directory here? We have 002, which is this thing here, and we'll go to the repo. So here is the repo. This is the thing that I have sent up to the Git repository. And from here, let me just, you have a couple of things that are already set up here, including like the settings, which tells you like the docking, hosting, the description that I already wrote in, and everything else. But what we're actually going to be interested in is the notebooks directory, which is here under NBS. You can see we have a few listed there. So what I'm going to do is keep this, this is a tmux screen. So what I'd like to do here, I will split it over here, and I'll make sure I'm running Mamba activate. And I'll do a Jupyter Lab. So this will run and do a bunch of Jupyter Lab things in the back end here, while and it'll post this up here. So you see, we actually have the full thing here already. So notebooks, index, and the core. So we have everything all set up. This is now being set up to be, you can export the entire, it's built for creating like a Python module. And we're going to kind of be doing that, but kind of not be doing that. So let's look at this, and then let's actually get started on the real thing here. So we have, all the data is from this data set here. It's original data, the documentation is here, the data dictionary is here. So the raw data is this. File not found. I think it's actually this thing is what they're looking for. Okay. So here is the actual data. Here's the raw link to it. And I'm actually going to set this to be pinned. So I have the real data here and a pinned version of the GitHub repo here. So I'm going to start with core. And I'm actually going to just call this first attempt, because I think as I do this more, I will have I'll have more notebooks as I progress along in how I do this, and maybe refine it a bit more, watch David Robinson's Tidy Tuesday screencast and get some things there. So here's the raw data here, and what we need to do at this point is import some libraries and import the data here. So I'll call this raw equals pd.readcsv. And what we'd like to do is maybe take a look at this. And here we go. We have read in the data and it looks reasonable. And let's close this so we have a little more space and make this a little bit bigger so that it's easier to read. Okay, so far what I've done now is I've just made sure that we can actually load in the data. We found it and everything looks good here. But at this point, as I said, I was going to be leaning on ChatGPT as much as I can. So what I'd like to do is have some good structure to this. Right now this doesn't have any structure besides a header. That's just this first attempt. So let's try to organize our approach and our thoughts and what we're going to make here. So let me open up ChatGPT. Let me do something here. So here's an example of the data. Please suggest a structure to the Jupyter Notebook and some code to get started. Okay, so it's suggesting that I have an intro to do things, load the data, data cleaning, exploration, references and whatnot. Step 4, data exploration. Describe, plot. Okay, so some include other similar items here. Okay, so this isn't, I mean, I can just do this real quick just to see what this looks like. Let's just see. DF is not defined. True. And still DF is not defined. Distribution of median salaries. Okay, that's not too bad, I guess. So I think let me force it to do something else a little bit more. Things. So we have 18 minutes left. I would like to create a function for the cleaning called, let's see here, def raw to clean. I guess I would give it like some raw dictionary. And let's see here, what's anything, okay, so, and for example, the major column has data that looks like this. And I'd like to use title case to make this look cleaner. Let's see if it can actually make this a nice function. Hey, that looks relatively doable. So let's say here, raw to clean, take in raw. Let's call df is raw to clean, and raw to clean given raw, and then let's take a look at this. All right, so we're already in business here in a sense, because we have major has already been cleaned up a bit, and now it looks like petroleum engineering instead of all caps petroleum engineering. Now at this point, everything, let me see if the columns have any sort of silly things. Let's just do this df.columns. Okay, so the columns don't look bad, they look reasonable. I want to use the profiling thing. I want to do from Y data profiling import. Was it profile report? Yes, I think that's right. Profile report. I think I need to do something here. I had df, let's just call it college data, and I think it needs a config file, which if I remember right, I have one in my downloads path. So from Y data profiling, import the profile report. I'm actually creating this profile off of this, and it's thinking away now. And here we go. We have the overview. 21 variables, 173 observations, 4 missing cells. Total size of memory is not that big. Average record size, 2 text, 19 numeric. Let's take a look at these guys. Okay, rank, major code. Major is text. Okay, so we have a lot of science, education, and engineering. Fun. Total. Looks like some sort of maybe a power law of some kind. Real number, men. Real number, women. Okay. The major category. Oh, this is maybe more interesting. There's only 16 distinct major categories. Good to know. Arts is clearly a big one. Share of women. So from 0 to 1. These are 172 distinct values that have between 0 and 1. We have one missing data there. Sample size. Okay, so this must be how many were looked at. Employed, full-time, part-time, full-time year-round, unemployed, unemployment rate, median salary. I guess this is the salary. 25th percentile, 75th percentile. College jobs, non-college jobs. Oh, I see. So if it's how many of them are in that, and low wage jobs, low wage jobs. Cool. Okay, so that's a nice little overview of this initial data set. Right, in terms of an exploratory data analysis, this is not bad. You get some pretty good stuff here. So let's do a few more things. Also, I wanted to start to clean this up because it doesn't have any structure and it's starting to make me feel nervous. So let's do something overly prescriptive potentially, but I'm going to call this imports. And then I'll call this data. We're going to grab the data. This is the cleaning part, so I maybe would call this cleaning. And I've put it as a 3-level. So there's imports, there's data, and a subset of that is the cleaning process. That's just extra. Now this thing should go under the imports, so I'm going to do a shift control arrow key and move it up here and just combine them here. And okay, so the cleaning looks reasonable, as I said, and we have the profile here. So maybe call this Y data profile. So that's pretty cool, and I think with this I can, the overview of the variables separately down here. Okay. I think I can actually write this out, right? to HTML. So let's call this ydata.html. Okay, apparently this is actually writes out a string and doesn't take an argument. And then I guess that would save this. Yes, this is some string. Okay, maybe I'll worry about that later. Let's make this a header. Okay, one last thing. Let's just actually have this exist here. So what are some fun things to do here? Let me take the columns again, which I had just a second ago. And let's go back to ChatGPT and say, okay, well, that works. What are some principled EDA approaches with the following columns? Okay, we've got correlation, distribution of categories using bar charts, distributional analysis, box plots, time series, gender analysis. Okay. Yes, please. Okay, so we have this thing, obviously. So data visualization, let's call this plots. So here's the basic statistics. I'm not sure how useful this is beyond what we already looked at, so I might just delete this. Let's make this distribution of total students in each major. I'm not sure this tells us anything useful. We also had this, right, where instead of raw, we wanted to call this df. We've already imported this. I have an idea. Let's do this. It just suppresses all of it. I want to see what the distribution of salaries is as a function of. So we have the major and the major code as separate things, right? Or major category. Okay, so code doesn't really matter. Let's do major category and major. So it looks like there are how many categories here? So majors, there's 173 distinct majors. This is done by that. And major category, there's 16. And actually, let's do across all of the majors. Okay, so let me tell you the plan. I want a plot that shows the P25, P75 for each major, sorted by median descending. So yeah, let's just see what ChatGPT does with that. Okay, this is the other ones here. We'll come back to that in a second. I'll have it run this thing here. Okay, categorical data analysis. So let's do this. I'll make this Markdown. Major category versus major category distribution. This is counting the number of majors. Okay, maybe this is okay. Counting the number of majors, I think, right? Because there's only, 30 is the biggest one. Perhaps we want the total. Let's say we want the popularity of each category by the actual numbers, right? So let's do that. And then I prefer having this kind of a framework for doing the matplotlib things. So I'm going to tell it to do this again. Keep going with this. In this script, we're doing some stuff there. Okay. When doing matplotlib plots, let's try to use this as a skeleton. And that kind of thing. Let's see if that works. Paste this and go to the end here and da-da. So when doing matplotlib, let's use this as a skeleton. Also, for your first plot, category plot, you counted the rows of majors, but let's maybe do something a bit more reasonable. Of people majoring in each. Can you redo with that? If you need the name of the column, let me know. Let's see what this looks like first. Major popularity. So this is the first version of it. And this is the second version of it. Hey, that's way better. Now, we still need to, don't need this show thing here. I'm zoomed in pretty far actually. So I'll just make this a bit bigger so that the size of the fonts look reasonable. So total number of students is 1 times 10 to the 6th. And we see here that business is by far the most popular as opposed to engineering, which has the most number of types of majors within that category. So I think this is actually much more accurate in terms of what you would like to know. So this is an excellent improvement. I will go ahead and delete this one because we don't need that one. So well done, ChatGPT. Yes, please redo all other plots in this way. Also, no need to include the plt.show in the Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so let's send it off to do okay, so start with the correlation analysis. Cannot convert string to float. Oh, we got a problem there. I'll have it fix that one, see what it does. So I think the right thing to do here is probably just to ignore things that aren't numerics. Okay, so it diagnosed it by saying it won't have NAs, but that's not the problem, right? Because the problem is that it's text. Oh, it worked? No, I copied the wrong one. Copy the code here. What on earth is happening here? Copy this. Ah, no, it thought it was the correlation analysis. I should have mentioned that one. Okay, let's do box plot for the median salaries. This is the one I actually want to see here. Correlation analysis, let's call this work in progress. And what we want here is median salaries. Median salaries. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. What I'm actually looking for is maybe per. No, let's do this, the major one. This is the one I want. This actually looks like it might roughly be working. Okay, I want to tell it one more thing. Okay, let's work on the, come on. A function that takes in, so what I'm going to tell it to do is create a function where it does this plot, a top n parameter, so that I can only plot the top 10 or top n majors at a time. Also, please sort the data so that the top n correspond to the highest median salary. Okay, so this is melted value variables PD plot. Okay, let's see if this works. So first try was suggestive that it could work. And this thing says the way to do this now is to give it the DF and say top 5, let's say. Petroleum engineering, Mining and mineral engineering metallurgy. Wow. I have to say, not bad. Oh, let's do this. I'm going to do the legend to be outside of it. Okay, that makes it a little more legible, but we also still have this thing being maybe a little bit too... Okay, so this isn't, this isn't perfect. A couple of things I would change here. I mean, the entire left half of the screen is this stuff, so maybe start to word wrap this. Also, having stacked bar charts here is not, it's not a terrible idea, but this isn't what I would consider final. Okay, so let's stop here. I think this is a good place to stop, and I would like to do a few things here to clean this thing up and make it look better. So I will actually move this Y profile dating thing. Yeah, let's collapse it and move it all the way down to the end. And then let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I want to move it above that one. This one, go down. I actually don't know what happened there. That was a new one for me. Is it simply... what is it doing? I've never seen that before. That is a new feature, let's call it. Okay. I was honestly not expecting that to happen. That is a little bit bizarre. Okay. Let me redo the Y plotting, the pandas, the Y profiling thing. Okay, the cleaning looks good. The columns, who cares? I'll have some plots here. I have the plan that I don't care about anymore. Let's move this down. What is this doing when I'm doing this, like, cells hidden? What on earth is this? Okay, that data is still there somehow. Okay, I'm just having too much fun with how crazy that is. Okay, this is just cleanup at the end. Oh my God, this thing has no idea what's going on. Where is the cleanup? Okay, I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna refresh this because this, I have clearly gone beyond the limits of what this poor thing has to deal with. Okay, so let's go back down to the cleanup here. Okay, I would like the cleanup to go down one. Okay, so now cleanup has this MB export. That's fine. Y data profile, what do we have here? I think we don't have anything, so I'm gonna move it down to where it can be here. And up here. So profile itself is, actually, let's see if I can see the history here and just grab it from this. So here's the history of all of the, this is a fun little trick if you ever screw up your notebook in a really fun way. You can go through and have it be, and see all of the history of every single thing that you entered into the kernel. So I didn't restart the kernel when I did a refresh. That was just simply, what's going on here? So I need to find this, a profile equals, where is that? Hey, there we go. That was, where was this, under data cleaning? Okay, so that stopped disappearing. I I'm going to delete this part. I'm going to merge these two, and then I'm going to move this as a group down to below to here. Okay, summarizing things and redoing that. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's take. I'm sorry. That was such a crazy, that was such a silly thing. I had no idea what was going on there. That was fun. Okay, we have data cleaning. We have the plots, distribution of students in each major. I don't think this is actually useful information. Popularity in each major. This one counts. This is a real thing. This one didn't work in the end, if we remember, right? We declared it not good enough. Median salaries. So let's make the, what is this one? Popularity of each major category. Let's do that. And then we'll have the wide data. We don't need this. Median salaries just on its own. That's silly. I'll delete this one. This was a good first try. And then we got a median salaries. Let's call this top end median salaries. And I think actually after imports and before data, so I'll do before data, I would like to have functions just labeled here. And here, let's split this and let's move this up. And where else are we defining things here? Okay, split the cell. Escape the cell, move it to the thing here, merge this cell together. So we have all the functions kind of hanging out together. I don't think we need that big output anymore. And here we go. Okay, so here's my first attempt. Fill in module description here. I'll do some more stuff here before I do anything else fun. But this is all of the imports and everything that needs to happen. Grab the data, do the popularity. I need to actually run this one. And distribution of median salaries, fine. The overview here is this thing. Cool. Okay, let us close this thing. Let's close this thing. I want to actually restart and run all, just to make sure this thing actually runs as we expect and we get the data that we expect. And once that runs and looks nice, oh, I will say this is surprisingly narrow. Oh, it's defined as 212. Must have done some kind of silly thing there. So let's rerun the tiny little guy here. Oh, that's right. I did it as 20. That's what it was. I should make this a parameter that's passable to the thing. Oh, this is a really fun thing. I will do this. I want a new view for this notebook. So up here on this, I will actually make this. This is 20, and this is a shared notebook. So I have this thing here, and I go down to the plot here, and I can run it and say, oh, that looks okay. Or actually, maybe I need to change this. Let me make this 20, make this 25, and then rerun it over here. So this is one notebook with two different views going on at the same time, and so this maintains state across itself in a clever way, so that's all nice. I'll put it back here, and you can just close that view. I'll do one last time. Restart and run all, and I'm finishing up here, I promise. And then I will push this out to GitHub, and I'll show you what we have there. That looks reasonable now. YData profile is still working on things. NBDev export is still working on things. And a few things won't work. I'm going to push this out, and it's gonna blow up and say, oh, I can't install myself right. I'm not correct on a bunch of other things. That's all fine. That's a known quantity with what's happening here. So let's just say close and shut down notebook. Yeah, let's close that. All right. Oh, I didn't actually start running the local. Let's do that here. I wanted to say NBDev preview. So this will be running a local version of the documentation, which will show all of the things as it shows up. So, oh yeah, you see the plot here. Oh, this does not look nice. And hey, you even have this little embedded HTML here. So this is what you see, and this is on the local host. So this is all that piece, right? And now I will go over here and say nbdev prepare. I'll take a second to rerun all the things here, including rerunning the documentation stuff here. And let's go back to my Tidy Tuesday here. Let's pin this tab. My main branch is not protected. I'm okay with that. I like to live dangerously. So let's say first attempt, first attempt completed. Let's just go ahead and do that. And let's push this out. So now it's going out to GitHub. It'll have to do a few things. It'll kick off some GitHub actions here, which will be running and take some time. At least one of these will fail because it won't be able to install the library I'm creating, which is this Tidy Tuesday 02 thing. So in theory, you can pip install this. I didn't actually follow this. So at this stage, this is just using this for the website piece. But in theory, that's how that would work. You would be able to pip install this and be able to plot things like, well, for example, I have this function that I put here, this plot top n salaries with the data frame and top n. And if I did this little export fanciness at the top that you saw, that would be, if you were to pip install my Tidy Tuesday thing, and I had done that export thing, you can actually run that function directly, which is pretty cool. And if you want to share an analysis you do like this with some other people, it's actually really handy to be able to say like, hey, I actually gave you a working library with pip install thing. You can just run plot whatever and it works. So that's pretty cool too. Let's see what we got here. So this has been pushed, and let's see here. And here we go. See, this is actually live, including the YData profile of all these things here. So this is a live website that I'll post a link to in the thing. And as I do more attempts to this, or as I clean up the data a little bit more, use ChatGPT to do some more things, I'll add some more. So hopefully you had some fun today. With that, I'll leave it there, and see you next time.